What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. And join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news and rumors you need to know, including the FTR debuting on Dynamite, a former WWE superstar teases an AEW debut, CM Punk has a very cryptic tweet, is there any heat on NIA JAX? WWE's plans for AJ Styles on Raw, Lio Rush claims WWE played him, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. For now, let's hit the intro because it's now time for the news. Our first story looks at the FTR debuting on Dynamite. Yeah, one of the biggest takeaways from last night's AEW Dynamite episode, apart from AEW restarting a feud WWE did 10 years ago, was that the FTR, formerly known as The Revival, made their debut last night. A truck pulled up to the ring and out came Wheeler and Harwood, and they looked as if they were going to attack the Bucks, but instead attacked Butcher and Blade, cleaning house and then having a moment with the Bucks. Remember that tweet? Yeah, 2 years in the making. Finally, this is going to happen, and we couldn't be more hyped. One thing's for sure in AEW, the tag team division is absolutely stacked. Next up, a former superstar teases an AEW debut. Speaking of debuts, we could see another very soon involving another released superstar, as last night during Dynamite, Cody Rhodes issued a weekly open challenge for the TNT Championship. Former superstar Zack Ryder then tweeted, "Open challenge? Well, we'd love to see Ryder in AEW, he would fit the promotion perfectly. He'll certainly go high up the proverbial ladder that WWE was trying to take away from underneath him." Next up, a cryptic tweet by CM Punk. Yeah, we know in the comments down below CM Punk is never going to return to wrestling again, whatever, okay. But Fight TV recently tweeted, "What is your favorite CM Punk moment of all time?" To which Punk replied, "To be decided." To be decided? Does that mean that he hasn't had his best moment just yet? It could be in the near future? We all know that Punk loves effing with us all, but at the same time it always adds intrigue. Will he ever return to the ring? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, WWE's plans for AJ Styles on Raw. AJ Styles was recently traded to SmackDown in a move that caught many by surprise. According to Dave Meltzer, the WWE apparently had several plans for the phenomenal one on Raw, but it's unknown if these plans would have gone anywhere. Meltzer explained on the Wrestling Observer Radio how the WWE had previously planned on using Styles. AJ was there to make new babyfaces. That's what he was there for. How many new babyfaces did he make? None. He didn't even lose on the way out. Well, he lost to The Undertaker, but that does nobody any good. My point is that every one of these guys, from Ricochet to Cedric Alexander to Humberto Carrillo, every single one of them was supposed to be in a big feud with AJ, where they would get over and would win the title, and not one of them did. As we know, none of these stars were put over, and while AJ made them look good, the decision to put the brakes on their pushes belongs to Vince McMahon. In hindsight, the WWE had 3 potential new stars it was wasted, and some pundits such as Meltzer doubt anything will happen with Apollo Crews, despite the talented wrestler winning the United States Championship. Next up, Lio Rush claims WWE played him. Former NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush recently spoke on Ryback's Conversations with the Big Guy podcast and revealed he got by the WWE when he agreed to come back and work in NXT. Mark Henry's current favourite wrestler explained things to Ryback, pointing out how he'd been taken off WWE television for several months. When I got that call from Hunter, some conversations were had, over the next couple of weeks about, obviously, pay. That was my main thing, I wasn't screwing around. I said this is what needs to happen in order for me to come back. I didn't hear anything from you guys for 7 months, so I'm not just gonna come as soon as you whistle and tell me to come back. Rush seems to have felt the title win was just a ploy to bring him back, take a pay cut, and get him back in the WWE. He mentioned, "As happy as I was that I was able to live out a dream and win a WWE Championship, in front of my family, in front of my friends and stuff like that, it was very disappointing and underwhelming. Just because I got played, I was fooled, and I blame myself for that, because I should have known that this was gonna happen based off past experiences with them, I mean the WWE. Do you think the WWE played Lio Rush? I don't know, he got paid, he won a title, win-win really." Next up is Jim Ross bitter with Vince McMahon. Now if you read Jim Ross's second memoir, Under the Black Hat, you know the WWE Hall of Famer announced his ups and downs during his many years in the WWE. However, now that he's in AEW, what kind of relationship does good old JR have with Mr. McMahon? Speaking with Ariel Helwani, Ross was upfront about his relationship towards his old boss. I think it's okay, we don't talk as much obviously as we used to. I remember his birthday, I remember the holidays, he remembers my birthday, things like that. I'll get a text or he will get a text. I congratulated him on WrestleMania for what they did. That Undertaker AJ Styles match I thought really good, and it was a production masterpiece, so I congratulated him on that, but it's a competitive world. However, things weren't all sunshine and roses, and anyone who's followed the WWE knows Ross has been fired on more than one occasion. Nevertheless, Ross isn't bitter, at least he doesn't sound so. We had great times together, some real tough times, and this Owen Hart thing that aired last night was one of them, certainly. But my relationship with him, I've got to get past my ego Ariel on the creatives. Did I like kissing his ass on the skit? No. Did I like Dr. Heine? No. But I got paid real well for all that stuff, and it helped me provide a good lifestyle for my family and my kids. I put my 2 wives and now 2 granddaughters through college, and I could do it. I helped improve their life because Vince helped improve mine, so I'm not bitter at him at all. Maybe Lio Rush should take a page out of JR's book. Next up, Raw's ratings. Did their audience help? The WWE brought in an audience for the 25th May edition of Raw, and fans are asking, did it help the ratings? While we thought it helped the show, it didn't seem to do anything for the ratings. Meltzer noted that the show did an average 1.74 million viewers over the 3 hours and finished 14th place overall and tied for first place at 0.51 in the 18 to 49 demo with an episode of 90 Day Fiancé on TLC, not Finance. Looking at the hourly breakdown, Hour 3 still suffered a lot. On the plus side, this week's third hour drop was only 7% from Hour 3 compared to last week's 10% drop. While some may think the audience didn't help, the fans had no way of knowing there would be an audience present other than for rumors floating around prior to the show. We'll see how SmackDown does with an audience and whether it helps boost the ratings. Next up, is there any heat on NIA JAX? Now, as we reported a couple of days ago, NIA JAX accidentally injured Kairi Sane by throwing her into the ring steps and hitting her head in the corner of the steel steps, resulting in her getting busted open. Well, since this was a pre-taped match, Sane managed to get medical attention in between the match, they patched her up, and they continued with the match. NIA JAX has proven to be quite an unsafe wrestler in the ring, and we have done many videos documenting this. Is there any heat on her backstage? Dave Meltzer provided more details on the incident and whether there is any heat on her. Everyone I have talked to have said that no one is blaming NIA JAX. This was not NIA JAX's fault, even though other things have been. Basically, Kairi Sane got whipped into the ring steps. One person said that she may have stumbled. She was trying to take it on her side. She didn't take it on her side. Her head hit the steps. One person told me she was in control of a bump and she made it look too good. She was trying to avoid her head hitting the steps. Her head hit the steps. She was bloodied up. She was knocked silly. She's okay. Now, okay doesn't necessarily mean she doesn't have a concussion. I don't know if she does or if she doesn't, but she's okay. If she has another concussion, coming off the last one, it's not that okay. Now, I guess we have to apologize in respect to NIA JAX for not being reckless in this match, as was reported earlier. It seems that Kairi Sane was just making the spot look too good. Nevertheless, it's good news to know that she's okay. Next up, was the Raw audience scripted? While the WWE hasn't brought paying fans back to Raw, the presence of NXT and developmental wrestlers did add some energy to the show. Some fans are curious what details were for the show, such as whether the audience was told how to react. According to a report by Ringside News, there was no scripted lines written for any NXT superstar to shout out during the tapings. They had a daunting task to stand in one spot and react with enthusiasm, and that is exactly what they did. The live crowd were not given anything to chant or any directions of who to cheer for. There was nobody coaching them off camera either. The direction given to the live crowd was described to us as something along the lines of, "Hey everyone, keep the energy level up." Additionally, we were told specific things to chant or cheer, no. Ringside News also noted the wrestlers were given chairs to sit on during the breaks, but the wrestlers were there for 10 hours, a very long haul. It's a long way to the top if you want to be a WWE superstar, or at least a paid audience member now. And finally, is WWE bringing in cinematic matches for NXT TakeOver? According to a report by Wrestling Inc.'s Mark Middleton, the NXT TakeOver in Your House scheduled for 7th June may be featuring a cinematic match along with a major stipulation. NXT General Manager William Regal announced the match during tonight's episode on the USA Network. Per the stipulation requested by Cole, Dream will no longer be able to challenge for the title as long as Cole is champion if he loses. It appears this will be another cinematic style match that takes place outside of the normal setting, as Regal said he would find an environment or location that is suitable for Cole, Dream and the NXT title. If NXT does run a cinematic match, what do you think it'll be? With Adam Cole's WWE contract reportedly expiring in August or September, could NXT TakeOver in Your House be his last match as NXT champion? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.